We're back, and it's the time to learn how to use Unreal. Okay, to do that, we need to download the Epic Game Launcher. And from the Epic Games Launcher, which is basically your library of Epic Games stuff, from there, you can download Unreal Engine 5. Okay, let's access Google here, and let's type Unreal Engine. Or we can get back to Google and type Unreal. Look at this, www.unrealengine.com or www.unrealengine.com. You can even erase the rest of it. Okay, unrealengine.com. Cool. Here we are inside the website of Unreal Engine. That is one of the projects of Epic Games. The main page, you can basically see a video all done in Unreal Engine 5 using the Lumen system, fracture system that we call Gales. It basically breaks the geometry. This simulates geometry physics breaking. You can get to know more about the tool here, softwares, films, TV series, games. They are developed with the Unreal Engine 5. A little more about the tool, developers, content. Okay, let's download Unreal Engine 5. Cool. So you can just click download. And here you have the terms to download Unreal Engine 5. The license option of this type, it is for a project that has reached, usually in games, that has reached the highest level of revenue. Unreal takes 5% of royalties from that revenue. In this case, that is our case. For architecture, normally we're not going to distribute this project, okay, as a game. So normally we're not gonna make a revenue from this. So you can use this. There's no limits. And yeah, okay. So you can download this. Okay, so if you have an account here on Epic Games, you can log in. If you don't have one, it's okay. You can create another a new one. Okay, so let's get it step by step. Select how you want to assign this. Well, we want to assign with an Epic email account. Okay, and it's even important that you create this Epic Games email account because you're also going to use it to download assets for free and pixel resources. Okay, so don't forget to use this here, the access with the Epic Games. Okay, logging with Epic Games email account. Okay, right here you're gonna put your country, in my case Brazil, first name, last name, the name that you want to show. Okay, my first name is Dennis, last name Gandra. I want to appear like Dennis Gandra. Yeah, or you can put another name. You can put like another name, DG, Davis. Okay, cool. So meanwhile, I'm gonna put it like this. Your email address, okay? It's very important in your main email. That is where you're going to confirm your access here, okay? You can type it here. You can create your password. You're gonna mark if you want to receive news or special offers from Epic Games, new games. Okay, in my version I marked this. and if you agree with the terms of service. And let's continue. Okay, it was sent an authentication code, okay, to the email that you registered, okay, that you subscribed, and you will see the code there. If you didn't receive on the main email, take a look on your spam folder, okay. I just verified my email. The code is 572214. And you will verify the email. Yeah. So as you can see, this is a free license to use, and it's 100% royalty free. You can see the use terms if you want. Yeah, and you mark this one if you want to receive news or not. Okay, and accept. In this moment, you're going to download the Epic Game Launcher. That is basically your library of stuff inside Epic Games. Select a place to download and save it. Click here after downloading, or you can go to the folder where you chose to save and open there. Okay, in this case, I'm going to click here. And it's going to get started installing. I'm going to install my here in C2. I'm going to leave it in the default location, okay? And let's do it. Let's see. Great, the installation is complete. You'll be directed to the home page automatically. If that doesn't happen, you can click here in Epic Games Launcher. It's interesting that you start from now on the Unreal Engine always here, okay? Let's go to Epic Games Launcher. How do you want to log in? With Epic Games account that we just created, okay? The email address, let's allow the access. Email address, great. We are now inside the Epic Games launch, okay? How about Epic Games? It's here in news, the homepage here. Okay, well, we have in this case here, for example, today is the 28th of February. Okay, we have some things here about Unreal Engine 5 in the preview version that is available now, games and images. On the left side here, we have the menu. We have the store where you can buy games, softwares, marketplace of Unreal Engine where you can buy the products that you have, that you bought. In my case, I have this other one. The Unreal Engine, that is where will be the things about Unreal Engine. So if I want to access things about Unreal Engine, I go here, Unreal Engine, and inside this I can see the news, learn, store, that is the marketplace of Unreal, assets, products, news, free things. Every beginning of month, Epic Games puts and makes resources available for free to developers. Sometimes there's vegetation, sometimes there are things for architecture, sometimes there are effects for games, okay? Here inside the Epic Games Launcher, you also have the DV's products. Inside the Unreal Marketplace, you can type here, DV's. Look at this. You can find the DV's products, okay? You want some architecture's products, you just type it so that you can see these products here, okay? Here in library, we can find all the versions of the Unreal Engine that you have on your computer, okay? You have the versions of Unreal Engine. We'll talk about it soon. Probably your is going to be empty because you don't have any of this. We have the project here. In my case, these are the projects that I'm making in the Viz. In your case, it is probably empty, okay? And you have the save here that are all the products, packages, assets that you bought here in the marketplace of Unreal. They will be shown here for you, okay? In your save. Okay? In our case, it is also empty, probably. Let's get back here. You can realize that I already have this Unreal Engine, the 5 version, the other version here, and this other one as well. This course here is a Unreal Engine 5 course, okay? Okay, I already have the version here, the Unreal 5, but it's old, okay? It is the early access version that Unreal made available in 2021. I'm going to download with you the new version of Unreal Engine 5, that is the preview version 1. To do this, in our case, it's going to be empty. How do you add an Unreal Engine version? Well, we're going to click here on this plus, and automatically it's going to show you a version that is available, okay? It's going to consider the most current version you don't have of Unreal Engine, okay? In my case here, I already have the 4.27, 4.24, okay, correct? Well, I have these both, and I also have this one, the 5.0. The latest version of the ones that I don't have is this one, 4.26. In case I didn't have this version, 4.27, it will be shown here, the 4.27, okay? If there is the version 4.28 and I don't have this here, it would be shown here, okay? If I have a lot of versions here and the latest version is the one that I don't have, is for example the 4.21, it would be shown here 4.21. And if you want to change the version, you're going to click here and you're going to choose the other version of Unreal Engine that you want to install. In our case, in 2022, 28th February, that is the day that I'm recording this class here, the latest version of Unreal is the 5.0 version, okay? Preview, yeah. Okay, so in 2022, we're going to installing this version, 5.0 preview. Let's select this and let's click right here, install it. You're going to agree. You're going to read and agree or not with the terms of installation, accept. Unreal is saying that it is a test version. It is not the official version yet, but it's the latest version that we have here. So install it. You're going to choose the place that where you want to install it. I'm gonna leave it like default, okay? If you don't want to install it here, you can put another place, it's okay. If everything's okay, just click right here, install it. Yes. And now we just have to wait because Epic Games Launcher will download this version automatically. We'll configure the files, we'll install it, and everything's gonna be ready, okay? As the other ones when it's finished, the installation. Let's leave it like this, installing. Okay, it will be 19 gigabytes to install the software. So when it gets finished, we're going to get back here and finally we're going to get into the Unreal Engine and keep going with the course. See you. After finishing the installation, you can simply click on start. Remembering that we are in February 28th, 2022. Today, only this version is available, okay? The preview version of Unreal Engine 5. Maybe for you, it can be in the 5.1 version or 5.2. It depends on when you're watching this video. You can download this, okay? This is the homepage of Unreal Engine 4. Here in recent projects, obviously you will have your projects that you're working, okay? You can open them here. The second one is where you're going to create your project, okay? You can create a game or your ArcVis project, okay? Films, you're going to create videos, films, live events. They are templates and things already pre-configured depending on the type of project you're going to develop. For architecture, where I have some projects here and some templates that are here for you. And this one, you basically have studios and templates pre-configured to have the studio feature, infinite background for you to use to represent your armchairs, furnitures, beds, cars, as you need, okay? We're creating an architecture project, so it'll make sense to use the architecture template, okay? But let's use the game template. Why? Because in the architecture template, it already comes with some things enabled for us, as that is myth, retracing, it brings a sharpness to the scene. We can go there to the architecture after. So let's get started in game so we can learn the things from the beginning. There is no light, there is no sky, there is no kind of pre-active resource. So we're going to be able to create everything from the beginning, okay? Then we can move to the architecture template to use the resources there, okay? This template is in blank. There is nothing on the scene. There are some terrains, but we're not going to use them. Pre-configured project already first person, which is what we're going to use to navigate. Third person. Let me talk more about these things here. In games language, we have the first person and third person. Basically, the first person, you will navigate your project from the point of view of the character inside. Well, at most, you will see the hand, okay? It is as if you were navigating the project as you see the world, okay? You don't see yourself. In third person, you will see your character walking around the project, like this little doll here, okay? For architecture, we can use always the first person, okay? That already comes with a character here, pre-configured, or a completely blanket one that we can create our own character, okay? I think we can create a completely blanket, and there we can create everything together. In architecture, we also have a blanket project. We have a project in ArcVis with some things pre-configured. Another different thing is that we can choose. We're going to choose the language in which we want to create interaction, basically the programming. We can choose the target platform, which in our case can be a computer or a cell phone. The quality of this project, if we want additional content, and if you want to enable ray tracing. Additional content is for you to use it, and it already has within the project you're working on materials, textures, some types of base material for you to start a project. But I don't think you need to. You start with the initial content because it's quite heavy and consumes a lot of space on your HD. But for you to test it and learn it, you can start with initial content. But for ArcVis, which is our case and it is our goal, we will create everything together from scratch. And ray tracing, if you have a video card, like if you have a GPU that supports ray tracing technology from the GTX 1060 onwards, then you can use ray tracing technology within Unreal, from which you may or may not enable ray tracing, okay? I'll leave it disabled for now. and we will activate together inside. Let's get started with a blanket project so we can get to the interface of the two. Let's see about it a little bit. First person, third person. After, we can initiate a new project and go to the architecture for us to know a little about the templates already prepared for architecture. Let's start in games. We're going to use this blank template, okay? Which means we're not gonna have any type of element but this sky in this platform. We want to use as programming blueprint, which is a more inviting programming based on images and nodes that we will use to turn it on and off, open the door, change material. Our target platform. Our target platform is a desktop, a computer. We can put the quality, in our case, a maximum. We are working with ArcVis. We don't want the started content, and meanwhile, we don't need the retracing, okay? We're not gonna activate this. Let's choose a place to create this project. I'm going to create this project in Piano House. I'm gonna create a folder here called Unreal, or you can put like UE5, all right? And you can select the folder. Before that, look at this. It's important you always have in mind that it's not interesting to create long paths in the time of developing your project. Look, our project here that we are developing, we have this one, that one, Piano House, and Unreal Engine 5. We have a long way, long path. It's not really interesting to use this type of long way, okay? Because Unreal can lose some files along this way, along this process, okay? If you use this type of ways inside Unreal to do the programming, to find the files, it's interesting to remember as the project evolves and we have many files inside, it's not interesting for you to create projects in very long paths. So let's change our path. Let's create our project, for example, in maximum like documents and another folder, okay, right here, or workspace and some folder here, okay? So let's create in workspace and let's call it Unreal Engine 5, okay? UE5 underline curse. Look at this folder, okay? Only folder. It's way faster to find so that Unreal can find these ways, okay? And the project name we can use, for example, UE5 underline interface, okay? Why underline? Well, Unreal doesn't understand space. You cannot, for example, type Unreal Engine 5 space interface. That doesn't allow. Look at this. So you cannot use to create names, texture names, material names, asset names, okay? You cannot have these spaces or special characters. For example, this one here, you cannot, all right? So always use underline, okay? Underline interface, okay? And just click here, create. Here we have the folder that we just created. So all this file, all Unreal, all this project is being created here, okay? Great. Maybe if that's the first time that you're creating your project, Unreal will load the project shaders, okay? It will appear a little bar here saying that the shaders are being compiled. So basically you just have to wait, okay, all this process to be finished. It's going to load the geometry, it's going to load the textures, programming, interface, illumination, okay? You just have to wait. Shaders to be finished. Here will appear a bar, and here there will be a percentage rate. Okay. Okay, when it gets finished, it's gonna be like mine. Okay, exactly. So you can navigate. All right. Well, we're inside Unreal Engine. How the interface works? The interface is very inviting. It wasn't on the other versions. It was way more complicated, but now it's way more inviting. Okay. Basically, up here we have the main menu where you can find new level, open asset. Unreal has, besides the project, the levels inside this project. We cannot forget that Unreal is a software developed for creating games, and today is being used for architecture. Our architecture project is basically a game. Within a game, you have the level, the main level, the boss, the adventure level. You have several levels. In our ArcViz project, we will also have the same thing. You have, for example, the main project. What is the main project? For example, summer house. It is a project that you will build with this summer house theme. So this summer house project has some levels inside. For example, the kitchen can be a level, the living room can be a level, the bathroom can be a level. Do you understand? You have the project, the game, and inside your game, your project, you have the levels, okay? The rooms. So summer house is a project, levels, the rooms, like room, kitchen, living room. Okay, Dennis, but how many levels do I need to have? Well, it depends. It depends on the size of your project, how you want to separate or not your project. But if you tell me, Dennis, I only want one level. My house is not very big, it's not a whole building, so you can do one level. For example, your project is the summer house, and the level is the summer house. Within the level summer house, you have all the assets, the entire project, all the rooms, everything inside. I have a huge building inside my project. So you have your building project, and inside that project, you have a main tower level, social area, swimming pools, playground, okay? Something like this. Then you can open a project or open a level within your project or create a level within this project. Okay, so let's go. File, new level, that is create a room. In our case of architecture, you don't necessarily need to create and separate by levels, okay? During the course, you will understand when to use levels, what is the need to use, you will understand. So if you didn't understand now, don't worry about it. You will eventually understand this. Let's keep going because we'll talk more about it soon, okay? Look, open assets, save it, save all. We have a lot of different options here, okay? In edit, you can undo history, you can adjust the preferences. We will talk about it soon. Just the project settings, okay? We'll talk more about it soon. In here, you enable or disable ray tracing. For example, improve or not the quality of the reflections. Plugins. We will use the plugins as well. We will talk about this later. Don't worry about it now, okay? We're just getting to know this. Interface. Window, same thing. We have access to these buttons, creation buttons. We also have here tools, build, select, actor help. Okay. Here we have basically the tab of the project here you're creating, like in Google Chrome, for example, and you have this site where you are and other sites that you have open. So in this case, here you have the level you are and other levels that you're developing your project here. Down here, you have the selection mode. Oh, I want to create my project and distribute the furniture. I go here, select mode. Okay, so here I can select the objects. You see this? Cool. If I want to sculpt a terrain, you go here, landscape, and there are some tools here that you can sculpt your terrain. Okay. And in the first time that you change, again, it's going to compile the shaders. After do it for the first time, the shaders will be already compiled and you won't have to do it again. Foliage, if we're going to work with vegetation, grass, distributing trees, plants, as first pack, for example. So inside here, you have a first pack. You can paint the mesh, you can model, remembering that in modeling, you only have a few things. In Unreal, it is currently very limited when it comes to modeling objects. It would be interesting for you to model in a separate software like 3D Studio Max, Blender, SketchUp, and then bring it to Unreal, okay? Fracture. If you're going to work with objects that are going to be destroyed in the scene, you're going to create a wall where the character will collide with this wall, and this wall will break. It will demolish. So you will do that here in Fracture. You can edit some types of modeling, plus some modeling here, and animation, okay? When we talk about ArcViz, basically we're going to use the select mode, maybe the landscape mode, foliage we were going to use a lot, and maybe these both here. We'll talk about them during the course, okay? Let's keep it in selection mode so we can select things. On our desktop, I select the objects with the left mouse button and rotate the screen with the right mouse button pressed. So I left click and I rotate by right clicking, holding and rotating. Okay? Like this. Cool? Yeah. To navigate the viewport, in addition to the right mouse button and the left mouse button that selects, we have the keyboard keys, which are the keys W, S, A, and D. Okay, what do they do? They move through space. For example, click on your screen with the right mouse button and hold and press the W key. Look, you're going forward very slowly. See? Press the Q key. Look, you will go down. We're going down very slowly. But we can increase or decrease the speed. We'll talk about it. Press the E key on the keyboard, going up. Okay, Q, you go down. E, you go up. W, you go forward. S, you go backwards. A, you go to the left. And D, you go to the right. Let's open a parenthesis here and change the speed at which the camera moves in the viewport. Let's put, for example, it goes from 1 to 8. Let's put in 6. Right button of the mouse, hold it, and do the same thing. Press the keys of your keyboard like W, S, D, A, Q, E. Alright, so you can move. Look, it's faster, right? Because the camera was in 4 and now it is in 6. Okay? A to the left, D to the right, Q, I go down, E, I go up. Alright? And you can also, at the same time that you move, you can also rotate the camera. Okay? This way you can move through the whole space and get a point of view of the whole project. As you can see, this blank template, which is the first template, brings the sun rising. We'll talk about it soon. The sky, atmosphere, terrain, like a topography thing. Okay, cool. We learned how to move through the space. Here in the selection mode, we have the button, the creation button. Here in creation, we can use to import content. like our FBX. We can add Quixel Bridge to bring Quixel assets into Unreal Engine. Remember that for Unreal Engine users, having registered with Epic Games there when you downloaded the Epic Games launcher, you used the login as Epic Games. Using that same login, you have access to all Quixel assets for free. Okay? Okay, so again, so Unreal Engine users have free access to Quixel assets. Okay? Marketplace, content browser, uh, where I stored your content. We're gonna talk more about it. Here, your textures, materials, assets, they always are gonna be there. Here, okay? Content browser. Besides, you can create the basic actor character, like you can put lights, shapes, cube, and other things, cinematic. You can go with the camera, you can go through the space, visual effects, sky atmosphere, and other things here. Okay. Yeah, we have all these options here. We're gonna talk about all of them, alright? Next button is about blueprint. We'll talk about blueprint here in the course. Don't worry about it now. Basically, it is a way that Unreal uses to create the programming, that is the interactions and automations. Open the door, close the door, change material, change the position of the sun, insert music, remove music. Okay, we'll talk about it. Don't worry. Okay. Sequence, we will create the animations, make the sockets, create camera, the cuts, the transitions. Okay. Okay, we can play the game. Look at this. I just click it. We are literally inside the game. Okay, we start playing the game, and we can use the same keys that we talked about: W, S, A, T. Okay. If I want to get out of the game, I press the ESC key. Okay. Okay. Nice. Here on platforms, we're gonna talk about it later. Okay, when we're going to export and package the project to be presented. Right here we have the selection modes. Okay, for example, let's create a box, create shapes, cube. I'm gonna click and I'm gonna drag it. Okay, look at this, dragging. Okay, I'm gonna delete it. Let's do it again. Shapes, cube, and I click and I hold it and I drag it. Okay, or I just click here, click, and I just click like this. Okay, it creates in the center of it. Okay, let's create shapes, cube. Look at this, it creates in the center of the place where I'm looking. Okay, look again, let's see, look right here. Okay, or if I want to create in a specific place, I can click like this, I can hold it and drag it. Okay, all right, anywhere I want I can put it. Okay, great, let's leave it here. A very important hotkey on the keyboard besides W, S, A, and D is the F key. Okay, different from 3ds Max that, for example, you use zoom, you have the hotkey Z. In Unreal, you use the hotkey F. Okay, look, let's move it away and let's press F. You see, you can zoom it. Okay, let's create a cube right here. So let's press F. You see, one time again, I'm going to create another object here. I can drag it and then I can choose the place where I want to put it. F, you see? Yeah. F again. You see? F. So F is the zoom. Okay, cool. So, all right, we created the objects. Let's talk a little bit about these buttons here. Obviously, you can select the object with these buttons. With this one, I can select and move, all right, like this. In the XYZ axis, or only the X, or only the Y, or only the Z, or all three at the same time. Cool. With this button here, I can rotate. Let's select the box here. I can rotate like this, in this axis, or in this axis, or in this axis, okay? And it moves every 10 degrees, okay? We can adjust this every 10 degrees. This button, I can increase or decrease the scale of my object, okay? Or in one axis, or in another one, or at 3 at the same time. Clicking and dragging, okay? And holding. Let's press Ctrl+Z. Okay, cool. Here, I can modify the orientation. The pivot, basically. Look at this. Let's rotate this a little bit. Let's activate this. Let's activate this. Look at this. When I activate this, it recognizes the direction. Okay. Look at this. This cube is a little inclined. Okay. If I change this like this, I can move in another way. Okay. It's going to respect the axis. Okay. If I activate, it moves respecting the normal, okay, of the object. If I disable it, it moves respecting the Z and X axis of the object. With the middle mouse button is the point, like in other 3D softwares like 3D Studio Max. Cool. It's cool here. Here it's going to control the object, how it's going to use the snap for the surface. We're going to talk about it later. This button is going to enable or disable the amount of centimeters this object is going to move. I'm going to slow down a little bit. I'm going back to 4. Remember that Unreal works with centimeters. If I have this button enabled, it means that I'm moving the object each 10 centimeters. Okay? Let's say this. Look, you can realize that it is going 10 each 10. Okay? If I disable this, it stops considering the 10 each 10, and it moves like this. But if you tell me, oh, Dennis, I don't want to navigate 10 by 10. I want to go 1 by 1 centimeters. So you can go like this. You can choose it, okay? I want 1000 centimeters by 1000 centimeters. I can go like this. Look, let's do it. You see? I want 100 for 100 by 100. Look. Okay? So you can activate or disable based on the distance you wanna go, okay? I'm gonna leave it like 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters, okay? Next button is the same thing, but for rotation. I can turn on or turn off. Look. In 10 by 10 degrees. Yeah, like this. I can change it to 5 degrees. Like this, okay? Or 30 degrees. Or just disable this snap for rotation, okay? It's up to you, okay? Next button, you can activate or disable the snap based on the scale. of your project. For example, like, let's see, let's select the scale and activate or disable the snap. Let's activate. So it's going to increase or decrease the object based on 0.25. Okay, look, with 0.25. Let's increase to 10. It's going 10 by 10 now. Look. See? Okay. Cool. Or you can go one by one. Or you can go 0.013, 0.013. Or you can just disable the snap of scale. Okay. And here we already talked about, it's the speed of the movement of camera. You can go forward, backwards, to the left, to the right. And here you can maximize or minimize the windows that you want to work. By default, it comes with these windows like back, but you can change it front, right, left. The way of visualization that by default the windows come in wireframe, but we can change it, okay? We're gonna talk about it soon, don't worry about it. And what you want to show here in this area, okay, that you're working. And we're gonna talk about this after, okay? So let's get back how it was, the visualization, okay? We want to maximize the perspective. We got it back what it was, cool. Now, this side, we have some options, very important. For example, show FPS, frames per second, that I'm working, okay? FPS is how we call, for example, in games, the rate of frames per second being updated to your project, okay? Like how many frames per second, how many photos are being taken here every second by your video card. As Unreal is a game engine, it was designed to create games, right? So you have the frame rate per second, which is how many photos or how many frames are rendered per second. The more powerful is your video card, the more frames per second you have. That is, the more fluid is your browsing, okay? So the weaker your graphics card is, the fewer frames per second you will get, okay? And this is related directly to how heavy your project is. I mean, how the more elements you have, textures, materials, you're gonna realize during the course that we're gonna have a really huge project, a really detailed project. And you will realize that the frames per second will decrease because there will be a lot of things that are going to be processed at the same time, and it costs a lot for the graphics card. As you evolve your project, you will realize that the fluidity of your project is directly linked to the optimization of your project and your graphics card. The more optimized and stronger your graphics card is, more fluid your browsing will be. The weaker your graphics card, the fewer frames will be rendered, okay? Obviously, we will learn how to optimize the project to increase the FPS. We will learn all of it inside this course, okay? It's a very complete course, okay? Now let's just understand what FPS are, okay? Let's keep going. We saw the statistics, the toolbar, also the field of view. We saw it. Great. More or less a camera with a 50 millimeters lens, okay? A camera with greater viewing depth, okay? By default, it's 90. Far view plane, it's the distance with which our object is shown. It's almost like a 3ds Max clip plane, for example. This helps you a little bit also in the optimization, okay? Cool. We can put 1000, 2000, 3000, 500,000. Okay? You can put some numbers here. The screen percentage here, you're gonna say the amount of resolution your screen will have. Okay? The amount of resolution your project will have. Let me show you up close here. Let's see. Let's put it close to the grass. Let's put it 20 here. Oh, 85 is the minimum. So let's try to change to 200. It's gonna be hard to realize because we don't have here a lot of elements and a lot of details to show, okay? But if you really pay attention, you're going to realize here in silhouette, it is with a little blur. Look, less quality, more quality. Less definition, more definition. Less definition, more definition. Okay? And here we have some more options. You can choose, for example, game view. We have like immersive mode and some other things. Okay? Basically here, you can configure your viewport, okay? And how you can see your work area, okay? And we have another thing here, high resolution screenshot. We'll talk about it soon. Don't worry about it. Perspective, if you want to see the top, bottom, left, front, back, okay? You can choose it. All right. Lit. That is how the images, the surfaces of the objects are shown to us. Here in lit, I have the texture. It shows me the texture, shaders, with specular reflection, okay? In unlit, it doesn't show completely, okay? I can choose what I want to see, just for example, light only, okay? You can just only reflections or collisions. You can choose it, okay? We will talk about it soon, okay? Don't worry about it. It's okay, all right? Because all of it we will see during the course, okay? Don't worry about it. It's okay. Let's get back to lit. Okay, lit. And the last button, we can also choose what we want to see. Anti-aliasing optimization, which is the aliasing of the edges of the objects, the silhouette of the objects, okay? If we want to see anti-aliasing or not, if we want to see the atmosphere, if we want to see the BSP, the collisions, decals, which are details, spots, that kind of thing. Cool. We choose what we want to open on the screen or not here. Perfect. A little bit to the right, we have an interesting area. That is the area where the objects that were used in the scene, okay? Here in Outliner, we have this cube. If we select, for example, the sphere, it's going to change the sphere. I can select the object on the scene or over here. That is the area of the objects that are in the scene, okay, that were used. So here I have basically the view of all objects that are in the scene. Look at the directional light. Let's press F to find out where it is. The directional light is here, but we're not seeing it because while we are clicking here on one of the buttons, it showed or not the objects of our scene, okay? We can show or not with a hotkey, which is the G key, okay, on your keyboard. Look at this, G. Look at this, G. So I can press G, G, okay? Nice. So the directional light, let's see this. That's the one. Basically, the sunlight. Let's move it. Let's rotate this. I can rotate like this, and it's going to update in real time. Let's rotate to the other side. Let's move away a little bit so that we can see the mountains, the shadows. Okay. Look. Interesting, right? Cool. Here, the same thing. One more effect that is in underground. So one more effect here. Look, smokes here. Atmosphere. Skylight that we already talked about. Meanwhile, we are on the interface. After, we're gonna talk about each thing, okay? Volumetric cloud. Look, you can show or not. As in Photoshop, you can activate or not the layer. So this layer, directional light, is the light of our scene. The atmosphere here, the smoke of our scene, the atmosphere of our scene, okay? The directional light, in quotes, we're gonna talk about it, about the skylight, don't worry about it, okay? Shadow, the clouds, the cube, okay? Here's the list of the objects that we have in the scene. As I choose it, that is, depending on the object that I select, it changes the object details here for me. For example, if I select the directional light in the tab details, so it changes, you see? Because I'm selecting the objects, different objects. So details, I select the directional light. In details of this directional light, I can adjust some things. For example, the position of the light. Look, the same way I can move it here, I can also move it here, okay? In the X, Z, Y, the rotation in all axes, okay? I have this little arrow here that shows the direction of the sun. It shows where the sun is pointing, okay? Nice. The scale of this object, if it's a huge object or not, look at this. You can lock all three axes or not for it to increase all at the same time. So basically in this field of detail, I can adjust the details of my object, details of the object selected. As for example, the temperature of the sun, like this, more hot, more cold. Okay, I can adjust this. The intensity of this sun, more strong or weak, okay? And here we undo the adjustments that we did, okay? Here on these buttons, you can segment by type of thing you want to do. For example, I want to see all the details, so I will select the general. Based on the actor, based on the last actions, based on the render, based on streaming, or all, okay? You can leave always all, so that way you can have access to everything down here in details panel. So you're gonna control and adjust the details of the objects that you're going to select, okay? Nice. Down here, you have some more very important buttons, okay? One of them, content browser, that you can access by clicking on this button or using the hotkey Control plus space. Control plus space, you see or not your content area. Inside your content area is where you will have your project. Everything you create or that you bring to Unreal will appear here. Everything that comes from an external source, for example, the FBX that we exported from 3ds Max, from the piano house, textures, materials, animations, and programming, okay? They are all in here. We're gonna talk a lot and use this content area a lot, okay? By default, it comes with a space on the left side and also on the right side. Let's see, you can separate it by favorites, interface, collections. These are things that are already pre-created for you. You can add, for example, an asset or an object to your game, features, pixel content. We're going to talk about it. Blueprint, level. Remember that we talked about it. We can add a room or create a single room where every project will be inside. We can create materials, Niagara system, artificial intelligence. We have a lot of things here, okay? It's a very complete software. We have a lot of things to talk about. Don't worry about it. We will talk about a lot of things, okay? Besides adding, we can import, for example, FBX, a texture to use inside the project. We can save all. We can click with that right button and we can add using the right button. Here in the content area, we can adjust the settings, okay? A lot of things that we can do. And we can get to this area of content browser. For example, also here, window, content browser, and content browser. Look, it's here. You see? You're going this way. Window, content browsers. This fixes the content browser for you, okay? It fixes here. Let's close it. All right, closed. Let's press Control plus space. It brings the content browser like a pop-up. If I click on the screen, it's gonna disappear. Look. Yeah. Window, content browser, it fixes the content browser on the screen. Even if I click on the screen, it remains, okay? As I can click and drag it and move it, okay, to another place. As a balloon, okay, as a pop-up, I can move it whatever I want, okay? Or I can put in a second screen, all right? That also works for these detail buttons. I can drag it and put it in another place or in a second screen, okay? I'm gonna close it. I can bring it here, look. All right? Or I can get it back where it was. Cool. Outline, details. I can change it. As you can see, look at this. Okay. Yeah. And if you kind of messed up and you don't know how to get it back, don't worry about it. You can just come here, window, click right here and this option right here, okay, default, and click here. Look, it got back how it was. In addition, you have an output log that will show you things about your project, any problems and texture errors, something that was not loaded well. This will help you. We can call it debugging your scene. That is, discovering what is going wrong, what is not being packaged well. We will talk about it in the future, okay? We also have here the CMD, which is the command line inside Unreal. We will use this parameter here, this field here, to insert codes to improve. For example, the quality of our project, enable or disable ray tracing, enable or disable resources, okay? Well, I think that's it. All right, I'm going to finish this class where we talked about the interface. We talked about a lot of things, a lot of buttons, but don't worry about it. If you can't understand it now, you're going to understand it as soon as you try it, you do it again, I'm sure you will get it, okay? Just keep going. All right? So I'm gonna finish this class here. And in the next class, we're gonna talk about import and content inside Unreal Engine 5. See you.